So I have ranted about AI on this channel quite a bit, mostly just in terms of like how it relates to the movie industry and particularly the concerns that actors have had and writers have had with the further development of new generative AI models threatening to, take over or replace them. And while we have seen some small wins for the writers, the actors kind of got screwed over in the SAG-AFTRA deal. But we've got something here that's even worse. It's bad not just for actors, it's bad for the world and information in general. And I don't know how to put a good spin on this. I don't know what can be done about it, but OpenAI announced Sora, our text-to-video model. And Sora can create videos of up to 60 seconds featuring highly detailed scenes, complex camera motion, and multiple characters with vibrant emotions. Let's take a look. This prompt is beautiful, snowy Tokyo City is bustling. There we go. The camera moves through the bustling city street, following several people enjoying the beautiful snowy weather and shopping at nearby stalls. Gorgeous sakura petals are flying through the wind along with snowflakes. And if you look closely at like the flower petals, you can tell some of them are just hanging on nothing. And I imagine that if I could read Japanese, I could probably tell if that was nonsense. But because it's not English, I can't really tell. But other than that, this looks like it could be drone footage. This is actually really impressive, and for that reason, very scary. This thread has a whole bunch of these. Here we've got... Obviously, it's fake because mammoths are extinct, so you could just tell from seeing that there are mammoths in here that this is, generative AI, or at least an animation. But it looks really convincing. This is photorealistic. Here we got a movie trailer featuring the adventures of the 30-year-old spaceman wearing a red wool-knitted motorcycle helmet, blue sky, salt desert, cinematic style shot on 35mm film, vivid colors. And one thing that AI video up to this point has not been able to keep is a consistent style between frames. It's always been like everything kind of fluctuates and changes, but here we can see that it actually keeps a consistent style. Different shots have the guy with the same face and everything. This looks really good, and it's really scary. Here we've got a gorgeously rendered papercraft world of a coral reef rife with colorful fish and sea creatures. And, speaking as a gay fesh, I take personal offense to this one. Okay, now this one shows the limitations, not just of the generative model, but of the capabilities of generative AI to understand human emotion, especially in animation. The prompt says, animated scene features a close-up of a short, fluffy monster kneeling beside a melting red candle. Where does it say? Suppose an expression convey a sense of innocence and playfulness as if it is exploring the world around it for the first time. So keep that in mind. It's trying to convey some emotion, but look at the actual animation here. It just has an open mouth. It squints its eyes right here, but then it just looks at the ground for no particular reason. It's just making moves. Now, the model itself looks good. The fur and the horns and everything like that, it looks like it's creating an actual like 3D model here. Like the textures and everything hold up. But if you're looking for this to create a new cartoon, that's not what you're getting here. What you're getting here is what the computer thinks is like conveying true emotion. But there's like, this is meaningless. There is no actual meaning here. Now here we've got a stylish woman walks down a Tokyo street. And again, I can't read Japanese, so I have no idea if the text is nonsense. I suspect there's probably a reason why they have been choosing to do like anything with text has been in Japan. And I suspect that's because they're showing it to a Western audience and we're less likely to recognize bad text in another language. But yeah, it looks really good. It's photorealistic. TJB says, I struggle to wrap my mind around anyone who thinks this technology is a good thing to develop. Yeah. Now, the one silver lining here that might not be that much of a silver lining is that you can't just run this model on like your laptop and expect it to generate anything like this. This is a massive amount of processing power. In order to develop stuff like this, you're going to need to have, say, a crypto farm. But of course, crypto farms have been in existence for a while, and now that crypto's dead, they might be repurposing those to do this instead. So, like I said, it's a small silver lining. It's not like anybody can just pick up a computer and do it. They'll use a lot of energy and a lot of GPUs to do it, but it is doable. It also means the GPU prices are probably going to go up again. Here we've got historical footage of California during the gold rush. These are all looking really good, and I am very concerned because what we're going to see is people are going to start doing generative AI videos of real people. Basically, the idea of video as like capturing actual events that happened, this is going to erase that. Like, there's a meme going around where somebody's just like, me in 3 years in court for a murder, looking at the AI generated evidence of the murder. I wasn't even there, and that's just like the surface of how dangerous this is. Like, the misinformation that can go out with this is so far beyond where we're currently at, and where we're currently at is really bad for misinformation. When you can slap a video on there and a lot of people to the naked eye, they can't even tell that it's fake. This is super dangerous. Here we've got a fancy pigeon, and it's moving like a bird. Okay, this one's a little silly because like this one's fairly obvious that it's fake because no dog is this agile. Okay, that dog is doing a cat thing there. That dog would have slipped and fallen by that point. I saw this thread that I wanted to read, but Gen AI is a fucking insult to humanity. Image and video are no longer historical documents. With AI, images will become nothing more than our entire visual history shoved into a meat grinder and served to us meaninglessly for profit. A craft I've dedicated my entire life to is being replaced by an image predictor slot machine. Image and video will no longer be about sharing stories, sharing our point of view, connecting, or documenting what we spent our time creating. I can't believe one of the most fundamental parts of being a person making and consuming art is being taken away from us. And for what? Why does this technology need to exist? How does this help anyone? There's no putting this genie back in the bottle. There can be attempts to regulate it, but that would be attempts to regulate it would need to be the same kind of regulation that you would have needed in order to stop people from farming crypto in the first place. You would need to have strong regulations on anybody who, say, owns more than X number of GPUs, which, like, is basically any business. Stopping this is, like, almost a fool's errand, but I think maybe the only thing that you can do is to have, like, such restrictive laws on it that, like, people who are caught using this to fake something real, like, having harsh penalties on them for it, and, like, maybe mandating that if you're going to use this, that it has to have, like, full screen watermarks baked into it so that, you know, like, somebody sees the video, they know immediately that it is this thing. But I don't know. This is... I wish I had more hope here, but this looks very scary, and I don't know what's going to happen in the future. So let's look at this one. Here is a cat running through some bushes. Lord Byron says the same technology that enables this could also be used for assisting drug development. Insert, but I don't want to cure cancer. I want to turn people into dinosaurs comic. I mean, I don't know that that's necessarily accurate. Like, just because somebody has the know-how to develop this AI technology doesn't mean they have the same know-how to cure cancer. But like, I get where you're going with it. But also, I wanted to highlight this person talking about how this meaningless video of a generated cat holds nothing to what it actually means to have a cat. I recently held my cat and watched as the light left her eyes, and I babbled, but she's so small through sobs. When the vet took her from me, her head shifted, and it looked for a second like she was alive and had moved, and I realized she never would move again. I feel strongly, unironically, this video mocks life. Moreover, it mocks the relationships and bonds, the communication, ideas, and stories that make up life. Sora, like all LLMs, generates by statistically amalgamating data, in this case, endless footage captured of cats. Footage that required not just human intention to capture, express, celebrate, and share aspects and behaviors of cats meaningful to us, but required cats to trust, bond, or feel comfortable with the people photographing them. It required a relationship, a context, and life. An LLM like Sora can only chop up and reassemble all of these memories, these records of life and work and intent and meaning, into a Frankenstein's monster of statistically significant positions and shapes, a composite corpse strung up in a pantomime of life by way of spreadsheet. It's cruel and strange that we're threatened and informed this is the future of human expression, that it is here to replace all thought, care, intention, effort, or meaning crafted by humans, things we previously accepted as the materials which wholly define expression. We're told to accept that our art, records of our struggle to understand our place in the world, will be carved up and sewn to a shambling corpse of mismatched parts without thought, and that we must accept this lurid golem will replace all future endeavors to express life. This unthinking corpse, composed of data points divorced from their original cats in context in time and space, with its eyes that don't blink and legs that phase through solid matter, is supposed to be an acceptable totem of our relationship to and understanding of cats. My baby girl and I had a context and relationship in history that was specific to us and matters deeply to me. She was not a series of parts and behaviors to be anonymously sewn to other cat parts also stripped of context, and I would never consent to her being treated as such. Don't think this thread is going to move the needle on regulation, but I wanted to express my feelings about how our culture values the fidelity and believability of visual spectacle more than the context, craft, conditions, and relationships that produce it, more than the people. And looks like they added more after I had liked all of that. But this is bad. I don't have a silver lining for it. Not really. There are possibly things that can be regulated about it. But ultimately, it's like once we had 3D printers, trying to have any kind of meaningful gun regulation went out the window because literally anybody can print a gun now. So just like this, the technology's out there now. And right now, it requires a lot of processing power. So that limits it a little bit, but not substantially. We have a lot of server farms out there. And we have a lot of people who had been crypto mining and might find, hey, why don't I just rent out my services to this AI generative tool? Something needs to be done. I don't know what. I just know it's bad. Lord Viren says it's like we've unlocked a method to automate most any process, and a lot of them just don't need to be. So I don't fully agree with that framing of it. Automation of a lot of things I think is good, so long as the automation isn't there just to make the rich richer and drive the creatives and the workers out of a job, right? I think that, like, ultimately, I'm a Star Trek fan. I want my fully automated luxury gay space communism. And I think for a lot of things, automation is good, because if it's just a menial task, something that doesn't actually require any thought or human creativity imbued into it, like, say, you just need to mass produce chairs or something like that. You can have machines do that, and then we focus on other things. But for creative things like this, for video, this just takes humans out of it entirely. And yeah, for that shouldn't be automated. There's obviously an argument to be made for the utility of some parts of this generative AI, but not to replace the human worker, not to replace the human creative. For instance, in Across the Spider-Verse, they built a tool that would take the angle of Miles's head and automatically draw the cheekbone shape to match however they wanted it. But in order to get to that point, they basically had to take Miles's head at every angle and teach the AI program how they wanted the cheekbone to look at from that angle. And so at that point, they had designed the cheekbone. They were just training this tool to automate it for them so that they didn't have to draw it every frame. I think of what Miyazaki said when somebody presented to him some AI-generated animation where he said something like, "I strongly feel this is an insult to life." And I can't disagree. Hopefully something can be done. I don't have any solutions. I just recognize the problem. Hey, thanks for watching. Your view means a lot. Don't forget to toss me a like and subscribe and ring the bell. And drop a comment below telling me what you thought of the video. I stream Mondays and Fridays at 5 p.m. Pacific and Sundays at 2, so catch me live and join in on the convo. You can find all my socials in the description below, and thank you to all my patrons with a very special shout out to my Whaled Shark tier patron Ryan D and my Anemone friend tier patron Piftle Cakes. Your support means the world. Catch you next time.